What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about the future of Crash Bandicoot and why it looks rather promising. Look, Team Rumble is its thing, and I'm certainly a huge part of it, and I certainly love it, but I do understand, and I get that it's not for everybody, and I do think the player base and the player count, I think it is kind of reflective that I don't think this is many people's cup of tea. I understand that, I respect that, and I really hope Toys for Bob, I hope Activision respects that, which makes this interview all the more important. So this was Toys for Bob, and they were interviewed from Video Games Chronicle, and the big takeaway, the big tagline that I'm sure I'm using for this title, I'm sure other people have used it, is investing in the future of Crash, that Activision is willing and, ready to do so, and they already have been very supportive of investing in the future of Crash Bandicoot. It's what we like to hear because, again, anything can happen with Team Rumble, and we've talked about it actually a few months ago where, okay, if this game doesn't do well, right? Say this game doesn't sell well, which is still up in the air, very well may not sell well. Do you pull the plug? Does Activision come in and say, well, look, we were really hoping this battle royale multiplayer thing, but you have to pay for it. We were really hoping this would work, and because it didn't work, we're not supporting a Crash 5. We're not going to give you the money for it. That would be worst case scenario. This article, this interview makes me feel like, okay, this was a test run at something very different. Again, letting creativity kind of take over. Now, again, for me, it worked. I think for how weird and out of left field it is, it does a fantastic job, whether it's successful money-wise or not. But at least it shows that there is some kind of, behind-the-scenes stuff where Activision is allowing them to kind of take these creative freedoms and do things that are really, really different. So hopefully that does mean more remakes or remasters. Hopefully that does mean look, I want Crash 5. If you think of Crash, that is probably the next thing that comes to your mind. I do want to throw in Spyro real fast here, right? Because for every article that there is talking about, the future of Crash is bright, and they're investing in a Crash Bandicoot. Well, what about Spyro? What's going on with Spyro? So I probably want to do a whole video. I do think Spyro 4 is going to happen, okay? Mark that down, say it, write it down in your notebook, say Alex said Spyro 4 will happen. I really believe that, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in a separate video on Podcast Now, but for the purposes of this video, is it worrying that they don't mention Spyro? Well, I guess. You can look at it like that. They were talking about Crash. Crash Team Rumble is coming out, or it did come out, right, when they did the interview. So, you're promoting your game, and the icon that's in that game is Crash, not Spyro. So, you think of that. I think Spyro is going to come to Crash Team Rumble. I think Spyro 4 will happen. So it's good that you get that future belief that more Crash games are going to come. That's fantastic. That's what I like to hear from those people, those corporations that once made Toys for Bob, help them make a Call of Duty game. That's the scariest part. Now, they actually talked about that in the interview where they said, hey, the COD stuff kind of helped us with other things. It's actually good that we're able to do multiple things and we're able to jump around. Okay, have that kind of talk all you want, but I can see through it, and I can tell you right now, or I will just throw in my opinion, I do not want this studio that's very talented and very able to make Crash games, to make Spyro games, they do not need to be taken by Activision and say, hey, you need to help on a Call of Duty game. Never do that again, please, and thank you. So hopefully we get more Crash games. I think that's almost a guarantee at this point. The Spyro thing, hey, if you're looking at investing in Crash, well, could you invest in Spyro? It probably all depends on what that dang Spyro Reignited trilogy, right? The remaster, remake thing, how much did that sell? How well did that actually do? There's been numbers, and people have talked about it, and kind of conflicting reports of if it was successful or if it wasn't. I guess they would know, right? If they say, hey, Crash just did way better. There's just more interest in Crash than there is in Spyro. I guess you can't fault them for that if that's true, but also we don't know the numbers. Spyro could have actually done... I think there's some reports that Spyro did better, at least in some territories, than the Crash Insane trilogy. So, maybe one day we'll find out. Maybe one day we won't find out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.